What's going on YouTube and welcome to Courtside today with your host Sepuna Sartan. The Oklahoma City Thunder are one of the best teams in basketball right now, which is extremely frightening because they still have all their assets from their rebuild. But right now, it's time for them to make a trade. Before we head into the video, please leave a like and subscribe as it helps the channel out a lot. Thank you very much. So the Oklahoma City Thunder are one of the best teams in the West right now, and they look like real contenders with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, their superstar, who has been playing magnificent basketball. He is at an MVP level, scoring the ball at will. He is amazing in the mid-range, getting to the rim. Even in post-ups, he has been really amazing. His footwork, the way he moves, everything he does right now is just magnificent. He just controls the game at a really weird tempo, but it just looks so good, and I don't know how to describe it, but his movements are just really hard to defend against. It's just very hard to defend against. Kind of it looks awkward sometimes, but it's really efficient, and it has turned him into one of the best basketball players in the world. And then on defensive end, he has been taking steps after steps after steps. He's a really tall guard with a good wingspan. So he can defend really well on that end. He's been getting in passing lanes, defending one-on-one, blocking the ball even as well in one-on-one matchups. And even sometimes as a point of attack defender, even though Lou Dort is taking more of that burden, he can take over that role in the switch as well and be really effective there as well. So he's been taking steps on both ends of the court and been turning into an absolute superstar. And that's why it would be a disservice right now to not trade all of those future draft picks that the Thunder still have. I don't know how many. I think it's more than 15 that they can still trade, that they still have just there, lying there. And it's not going to help them to just draft them over the couple next years, just keep those draft picks and then get young players every time. That's not going to help them right now with the window they have, with Jalen Williams being in his second year and Chet Holmgren being in his first year, but which is his second year on his rookie contract, which is what I want to get to, because right now those two guys, they are still on really good contracts for a contending team, and they are already playing at a really high level. But Jalen Williams, man, what a fantastic player. He has just been taking steps after steps. It seems every game he just gets better. His efficiency as of late has been absolutely ridiculous, the way he's been scoring the ball. His free ball has been going in as well before the season, and even in the beginning of the season, that was kind of a question. He was not really shooting a lot, not really shooting super efficiently. But over the past few games, he's been taking way more threes and draining them. He's now at 47% for the season. Absolutely amazing from Jalen Williams. And then getting inside, his dribble has been getting way better. He has legitimate superstar potential, and I don't say that lightly. He's actually mind-blowingly good, and the OKC Thunder have a really good one. And then we have Chet Holmgren, of course, who is on his second year of his contract, but it's his first year basically playing, and he's been playing amazing as well, man. What he can do is absolutely mind-blowing. How him and Wemby have come into the league and basically set a new standard for defense, for how young guys should play defense, for how like 7'1" unicorns should play defense, just being able to switch out onto the perimeter, but also defend inside and contest shots, block shots at a really high level, being good in the passing lanes with their length as well. Really smart defenders. It's been absolutely amazing to see those two, but for Chet especially, he's been also shooting really efficiently, providing some good spacing for that team, which needs some, because that shooting in the backcourt with Giddey and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was kind of questionable. And then even with Dort and Jalen Williams at the beginning of the season, you didn't know what you were going to get with them. Lou Dort, always kind of a question from three-point, but he's been shooting really well this season. And then Jalen Williams, as I said, over recent times, his three ball has been starting to go in. But yeah, Chet has been amazing for them. They're probably really happy that they got him with the third pick a couple of years ago. Amazing pick for them. And now they just have to address one issue, which for me remains an issue, and that's Josh Giddey. Besides the personal stuff, which I find disgusting personally, but I'm not gonna comment on that. I just don't think he really fits well into this OKC lineup, man. And they have the assets, they have the salary to match, to get a real star, and have 3 years basically of having Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams on really short-term contracts and actually contending, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's already on his big contract. But those two guys, at least for these playoffs, the next playoffs, and the year after that, they're still on a really cheap contract, so they don't have to worry about that right now if they get in a big salary star, which is what they should do. they have the assets to go for Larry Markkanen, even though the Jazz have said it would take one of their untouchables, meaning the other team's untouchables, if they were to trade for Larry Markkanen. But the OKC Thunder have so many picks that it doesn't matter. The Utah Jazz can't say no to an offer that includes I don't know how many picks and maybe even Josh Giddey. But they don't have to trade Josh Giddey, of course. The OKC Thunder didn't just go for the picks rate because they have so many. And Larry Markkanen right now would fit tremendously into that team, shooting the ball at a high level. He's been absolutely developing into a superstar as well. But with the way the Jazz have been playing over the past 20 games, I don't know if they would really want to trade Markkanen right now. But I don't think they have a way to contend either or build towards contending, unless if Markkanen becomes an absolute unicorn of a player and one of the greatest players of all time. I don't think that he has enough help right now, right there, to really be a competitive team in the playoffs every year. So the Jazz should kind of rebuild. They should tank, and they could do it with Markkanen on the roster if they just sell off other pieces of the roster. But they might also go for Markkanen, and I don't think he's untouchable, especially not for an offer that OKC can make, and which is basically an offer they can't refuse. They can also go for Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. They can offer a ton of picks to the Nets. The Nets have been absolutely horrible this season. They haven't been able to get anything going. They don't even have enough scoring, which is basically what no other serious team lacks. And the Nets look like a serious team when you see how many good players they actually have, but it's just a role player super team. They just have so many good role players. They have Mikal Bridges, they have Cam Johnson, they have Dorian Finney-Smith, they have Nick Claxton, they have Royce O'Neal. They have plenty of good role players, but no guy that can really be a star on a team, and that's never going to work when you want to contend. So getting Mikal Bridges would also be a really nice thing for the OKC Thunder. He can play the 2 or the 3, however you want to see it, with Lou Dort and Jalen Williams. That's still to be figured out, but they can also go for Mikal Bridges. They can go for Jerami Graham, who already played there. They can go for a lot of guys right now that they want to, if they want to, and they should want to. Because I believe right now they are just that one piece away. I think Josh Giddey is easily schemed out against good defensive teams. We saw it against the Clippers and the Lakers this week, who handed the OKC 2 losses, where Josh Giddey wasn't really impactful. And they have guys who can play instead of Josh Giddey. But then again, it would be nice to have a real front court piece. Because Jalen Williams, he can play the 4, but he's not really a 4 in my eyes. He can even play the 2 or 3 better than the 4 in my eyes. So I would go for a power forward like Larry Markkanen, like Jerami Grant, whoever they could get there. It would be a really nice addition for them. Or they can move Chet to the 4 and get an actual center. Because I still believe Chet, even though he has been playing really well as center, it would be better for him to be a power forward like Giannis and defend kind of in a free space with a center protecting the rim really, and then also be the backup center when that center sits on the bench. Or they could still go starting center Chet and then actually acquire a real center so that Chet can play a couple of minutes at power forward. Because right now the front court is what's hurting them, man. They don't have a lot of front court players. Lou Dort and Jalen Williams are the starters in the front court, or if you want to see Josh Giddey as a starter in the front court. Those are not really forwards. Off the bench, they don't have that good forwards. They have some really good guards off the bench, Isaiah Joe, Case, and Wallace, of course. They can really play off the bench, but they're gonna need some actual front court help to be really competitive, to guard some of the best players in the league. Teams like the Lakers, who can play inside, who put a lot of pressure on the rim, can maybe hurt the OKC Thunder a lot because they want to play physical, they want to play inside for 48 minutes, and sometimes the Thunder can't really do that. They can play at a high-paced tempo, but not really be physical for 48 minutes in the front court, like really bang against guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and then even off the bench, like guys like Christian Wood. I don't think they have that personnel, and just getting some guys, I'm not saying they have to completely change their MO, but just getting a guy that can really be there for the physical matchups would be really nice for them. And they can still trade for guys, trade for players that can help them right now, and still have enough draft picks left to where you can say, okay, if that doesn't work out, we can still make a move in the summer, we can still make a move next year, we can still make a move whenever we want, because we have so many draft picks. So yeah, to me, it's clear the OKC Thunder should just acquire some really good players right now. A star player, preferably, if they can go for Lauri Markkanen. If the Jazz say Lauri Markkanen is not untouchable, but it would take like 6 first-round picks, I would do that move right now, honestly, because they are already so good, but that would just take them over the top and just be basically make sure that they would be able to contend for a lot of years down the road. So if they can make a move like that, they should make a move like that because they are already so good, and they can get so much better right now with the draft picks that they have right now. It will be absolutely scary to see what their potential is. Like, it could turn into some of the greatest teams of all time if they really do it well, because that's how much talent they can acquire and already have right now. So that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe down below. Also leave a comment. Do you think the OKC Thunder should look for a move right now for a superstar or for a star, or should they actually just wait a little bit longer and see how this season plays out and then maybe go for a trade in the summer? You tell me down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.